I've ever been a part of.
Use your @ and don't forget your hashtags as an Unearthly podcast continues covering Destiny of the Doctor into the Babblesphere as narrated by Lala Ward with Roger Parrott. Hi guys, it's welcome back once again to an Unearthly podcast. I have, of course, myself, the Man in Black, Mad Matt Winchell.
Hello.
Ronson McCulloch.
Always a pleasure.
And back from our Hunters of Earth review. Now, are you going by anything other than Eli? I'm sorry, I forget.
That's fine. Just go by Eli. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
People are going to hate me anyway, so... And as the intro stated, our main thing today, we're going to be talking about Destiny of the Doctor, Babblesphere. First off, there's a bit of Doctor Who news. Those of you who've been under a rock or not had internet access might not have heard any of it. I have had both.
Randy, would you like to be the one to tell them the big Troughton news?
Well, first, 50th anniversary special. Any news there? No.
Yeah,
what about the Christmas special?
Pretty much there hasn't been much of anything.
No, it's been dead silent on the production staff of any little clues ever since they started releasing their promo pictures.
They haven't even released they haven't even leaked the Christmas special name, even though they must have already finished the title card on next month's special.
Yeah, we already know that one. They're trying not to release anything. I guess until after that's out.
Probably.
Right, what I mean is the comeback for Christmas for this title card is probably already made.
Yeah, but they're apparently keeping a very strong lid on it. But as if you've been listening over the last few months, there's been several rumors that several Doctor Who episodes have been found in Africa. We've talked about it a bit. Even last week, I believe, I mentioned take that news with a grain of salt, as there's been several such rumors before, and they hadn't panned out to anything.
And the specific rumor that was floating around at least during the days leading up to our podcast last week was pretty much BS, and that was 106 episodes found in Ethiopia, which that's not the case.
Yep.
That would have been fucking funny, though.
I would be very pleased to note now that I am wrong. And that they did announce on Wednesday that 9 new episodes were found out of Nigeria. Remind me to send a thank you note to that prince next time he emails me asking for money. But, no, episodes from the Troughton era were found, including the missing episodes of Enemy of the World, and all but one missing episode of the Web of Fear. Enemy of the World was posted immediately to iTunes in its entirety.
Sweet.
And Web of Fear, it will be getting a DVD release next month, and Web of Fear will be getting a DVD release in March. I'm hoping they are going for an animated reconstruction and not another still reconstruction.
I've been hearing still reconstruction, which means no, I can go watch this
all the
anytime
articles
I
I've
want to
seen
online.
is still reconstruction.
If they are going to do a still reconstruction, it's not worth my money. I'm going to wait until they actually do a real reconstruction, please.
But you were so upset when you found out that Web of Fear was not in its entirety.
It's the one really good Patrick Troughton story I've heard that's good. That still is not complete, and they had everything except for that one. And the reason I was pissed is because I heard right away that they're going for a still episode instead.
I know. It's just. I just find it funny that only you could take what is arguably the greatest Doctor Who find since Tomb of the Cybermen and consider it a failure because it's missing one 25-minute episode.
I don't consider the find itself a failure. I consider the fact that BBC is still trying to push it out while not even attempting to do an animated thing for that missing episode a failure.
I don't know if they're considering the animated reconstructions a failure or not. I know you think the invasion, which was done by Cosgrove Hall, was pretty good.
Oh, I love the invasion. And yes, I do have the missing stuff animation, and that at least is something. Whereas
they just did
a still image gallery for an episode? No.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite idea where I'm like, I look at these older episodes, they have a certain visual style, and the animations are generally, at least the ones I've seen, are a completely different visual style in its entirety.
Well, what animated stuff are you seeing?
Stills.
What animated stuff are you seeing, Bill? Is it fan-made stuff?
I don't think. What I've basically seen was photos that they were using to promote the DVDs.
No. I'm asking you the animated stuff,
not photos,
Bill.
but like.
Now, what
like
animated stuff did you see for what episodes, Bill?
Because there's been at least 3-4 studios that have been doing the animated reconstructions.
Gotcha.
And then there's a shit ton of fan stuff out there on the net too. So I'm asking.
I'm not certain it was
what ones.
It was one that we were talking about in our Skype group. Someone had, I think it was, I forget if it was an Ice Warrior, still from the animated part of it, of a DVD. I might be wrong. It was a few months back.
I think
so
I've
I don't
heard
remember
of
a lot
them
of
doing
details.
reconstruction for stuff like that, but I don't know if there's any official release of it.
The only ones I know for certain that have been getting an animated re-release is The Invasion and 10th Planet.
Yes. Those are the only ones that have official animated releases.
There is an unofficial but professional remake of Mission to the Unknown.
Yep, that too. And I did see a little bit of that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw some of that as well. I mean, I just can't imagine going. I mean, unless they do a pretty much as close to realistic thing as possible. I kind of find it hard to picture going from seeing actual Patrick Troughton jumping around with 60s cameras to, modern HD animation and such.
No,
but I might be mistaken.
That is my one problem with it, is a lot of it is redone in Flash animation. And Flash animation, pretty much no matter how you do it, has a very specific feel to it.
Yeah, I will admit that.
If they had gone and actually spared the expense to do hand-drawn cell animation, I probably would have bought it better. Especially animated in that particular style of time.
But yeah,
Right.
Who's going to throw that much money into it, though?
Yeah, that's true. The BBC just wants the maximum recoup they can on their stuff, so they're animating it as cheaply as possible.
And for what it is, it's better than
which is
just
kind
seeing
of funny
still
because
images.
the way people have been web sourcing things lately, I have a feeling if they turned around and said, "Hey, listen, we need a Doctor Who fan who specializes in this specific type of animation. We'll pay you bottom wages for it, but you'll actually get the chance to be part of the DVD." People would jump.
Well, that's the thing.
At least somebody would.
Plus, they could get paid in cred.
Titmouse Incorporated, the guys that do Metalocalypse for Adult Swim, sent the BBC a offer to do it cheaper than Cosgrove Hall, and they sent them a sample still from several of the missing episodes, or not sample still, excuse me, a sample animation from several of the missing episodes that they had reconstructed small scenes for. And the BBC looked at it and basically said, "Thank you, but no thank you." And I'm like, what? They offered to do it cheaper? They offered to do it better? And you still told them no?
I'm thinking
What the
there
hell
must be
is
a
wrong with you?
I'm thinking there must be some sort of contract there.
It might be.
Because, this is also the guys that do Venture Brothers, too. And, hell, if you've watched any of that, they can actually capture, like, the old 60s Johnny Quest feel. I'm pretty sure they could do a 60s Doctor Who vibe pretty damn well, too.
Probably.
To be honest, it's not that different of a vibe. 60s sci-fi adventure. Really, yeah. All you have to do is change it to black and white, and you got it. But no, the BBC told them no, and I personally think they're insane for that.
Well, again, I would bring this up that they probably have a contract with whoever's doing it for them right now. Wait maybe a couple years
Except
or
for the
until a
fact
couple
that the
projects
BBC
are
keeps
done, and maybe
changing.
then they could do it.
The BBC keeps changing who's doing it, though. Because they're not doing Cosgrove Hall anymore.
But probably then because other people with better offers came up, maybe too.
But as we mentioned, we're specifically referring to them getting better offers and refusing to take them up on it. So.
Yeah. But, I don't know. It's going to be very hard to find a cheaper offer that's a better quality.
Right.
Let's see. Who has been doing animation for them? Okay, 10th Planet and Moonbase are both getting animated reconstructions. 10th Planet will be due out in November.
Sweet.
Moonbase will be out in January. Both of which are done by an animation group called Planet 55, who I have never heard of.
Can't say I've heard of them either.
Earlier this year, there was a DVD release of The Reign of Terror, which is a William Hartnell, which was done jointly by Big Finish and Planet 55. At the same time, the Ice Warriors are getting an animated reconstruction that should be due out shortly here. It apparently was released in England in August, done by Curios Entertainment. Curious Entertainment, who I'm not familiar with, but they have a link. Let me see. So apparently, they're bouncing between while dealing with two other people. So it's not like they have an exclusive license. There is by the way, it's on the internet. You can find it on YouTube. Is the what's referred to as the Ian Levine paid for animated
Mission of the Unknown?
Mission of the Unknown. That I think is actually done by Titmouse, because he saw the Titmouse trailer and basically went, I want to see this done. So he actually raised the money himself for getting that one commissioned. The BBC has never released it, but it's out on the internet.
Thankfully, the BBC did not demand that they take it down.
Yes. Curios Entertainment has done animation for commercials and shows including Hyperdrive, Spooks, Tracy Breaker Returns, and The Dumping Ground. None of which I know, and this is not actually what I would consider to be the best credits in the world.
Oh, so that Planet 55, by the way? That looks to be the same group that did the Doctor Who anime. Because it's very much the same art style and everything.
There was no group that did the Doctor Who anime, Matt.
Well, it's apparently that group, though.
Be interesting.
It's the exact same art style and everything. And I'm looking at a trailer of theirs, and they're actually
that wasn't a group, that was an individual.
Well,
Yeah,
according to this,
was the
Plant
single guy
55
that
is a
did the
group of
Doctor
3 people.
anime. Yes, but only one of them is going to be the lead artist. And that probably then would be the guy that did the anime.
Yep, there's a 3rd Doctor right there. So actually, this could be quite awesome. Oh yeah, they're showing some of the new BBC stuff they're working on too in the trailer.
Mm.
Oh wow. Yeah, there's some 10th Plant right there, and there's the 1st Doctor.
Where are you seeing this, Matt?
Plant 55, studios.com.au/index. Just look up Plant 55 on Google, you'll find them.
Okay. Oh, they're an Australian company.
Yeah, look at the little trailer they have on their index page there. On their homepage.
Ah, too loud.
I completely muted it for the video feed, so. Oh yeah, I can't wait. That looks awesome. Oh,
And
which
you know,
page?
and you know what? A lot of that footage was taken from the Doctor Who anime.
Yeah, so
They
as I
just
was saying,
changed. They just changed the antagonist.
Some of it is, but there's some of it that still has 3rd Doctor in it, and they also have some new stuff for the upcoming BBC stuff they're working on. Just keep watching it; you'll see new stuff in there.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop watching the stream. It seems that all of the distortion that I'm getting is only happening when I watch the stream. When I have that closed, my connection is fine, at least as far as I can hear. So
I had a few distortions here and there, but nothing major. Today. But yes, if they keep up that kind of quality for the BBC stuff, then it's going to be awesome.
Holy hell!
You just hit the 10th Plant stuff, didn't you?
And they're from the Reign of Terror. What's that?
You just hit some of the new stuff, didn't you?
I saw some of the bits from the Reign of Terror. Yeah, that's good quality stuff.
Yeah. Cannot wait. Wait till you see the 1st Doctor. He's coming up before long. Yep, there he is.
Yeah, I'm not getting. I'm on a stream pause here, so. But yeah, that looks like decent quality stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I'm now all for Planet 55.
Yes, please, more Planet 55.
Go Planet 55. Give Web of Fear to Planet 55.
Please, please, sugar on top, please.
You're missing one episode. Basically, go, guys, here you go.
As a freebie, here, come on. We need just one episode of this. Come on. But yes. Oh, I hope they do it. Yeah, just the clips from that trailer, it's like, oh, yeah. So yeah, cannot wait. That Studio 55, Plant 55 will do us a good job. And I brought the entire podcast to a standstill.
The quality of the animation was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed a lot of the stuff in their trailer there was originally used in the Doctor Who anime, like the 3rd Doctor beating up people.
Yep.
But still, from what I could see from the authentic stuff, it looks good.
I'm getting a little distortion too, Bill. I think it's not just the stream, but anyways.
I understand. I'm an internet guy. I understand the fast typing. That's too loud, man.
Okay, so you guys are all receiving distortion?
Yeah, we keep receiving distortion.
Very slight on my end.
There's slight parts here and there. Should I host?
I'm gonna try something different. I will call you guys back momentarily.
Bugger.
Okay.
I am something new. It just might be the internet here, but I can fix that. I will be right back.
So, holding the stream. Da 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 da. Well, this is going to be about the part where we lose most of our audience, isn't it? Well, actually, while we're waiting, reopen, close tab. So that was that, at least. Now you got an official look at that. Still waiting for them to get back. Arg. Anyway, I guess I can always look and see if there's anyone watching. Nope. It would have just been easier for me to call, I think. Oh well.
Okay, we'll see if this works any better.
And I'm cutting down the various bandwidth my computer automatically uses as well. So
I'm getting a bit of distortion.
Well, this portion of our podcast.
A few times there that you guys were speaking and I thought it was completely silent.
Well, I'm trying a completely different setup for my computer, one that I might be using this evening as well. So this is actually a good test for me. This portion of our conversation is being brought to you by U.S. Cellular. as I have just tethered my phone to my laptop, and I'm connecting to the internet through that.
Hopefully it stables.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if I tried that, my phone would explode. Mine's such a piece of crap.
Sounds like you really need to update your tech, dude. Not all of us can.
Nah, it's fine.
No, not all of us can be soda, you know.
Most of my tech is from the Clinton administration, but it works.
Join the 21st century.
Yeah, you're not
Screw you. 21st century was supposed to. 21st century was supposed to have that stuff in Back to the Future, and that shit ain't there.
We've got flying cars.
Yeah.
Technically, it's got another 2 years.
And video phones.
Technically, it's got another 2 years. The future stuff from Back to the Future happened in 2015.
Well, we better get on the ball, is all I'm saying.
So, when in 2 years rolls around, you can bitch on where's my flying car and where's my video phone.
I won't. I will.
Oh, I know. I'm waiting for 2020 so I can complain to Mike Pondsmith, where's my full body board conversion?
He's like camped outside his house.
We do have video phones, and at least that's what Skype on an Android is. And we've got...
It's not functional, but we do have it.
And flying cars will be out within the next 2 years, so we're getting there.
No, what we need is the Mr. Fusion.
I need more fuel!
Anyway, so yes, Planet 55 looks good. The animation looks sweet.
Yes, and I showed it in full screen while we were waiting.
So, moving on a bit from that discussion, since we talked a bit about that.
Yes, we did.
I'm gonna try to be brief on this one, but I have a feeling we're all gonna have some comments to make. ThinkGeek has I've announced on this podcast a while back. ThinkGeek had put out their first, second, and third Doctor Travel mugs. They've been quietly upgrading on the side, like some sort of Millennium Falcon, or they.
Oh wow, it's getting even worse than before, guys. Seriously, should I just take over the call? Hello? I think it's dead. Yep, it's dead.
All of you just went out like my Game Boy Color did. Like you slowed down and then you just progressively got quieter and quieter until you.
I think it's because Randy's end just died.
Gotcha.
Randy has yet to come back.
So he'll come back with his, but let's see if a new host solves some of this.
Where were you now, Bill, before?
I don't know, what was the last thing you heard me say? No, what was the last actual sentence you heard me say?
I believe you're on something about ThinkGeek and something about their cups.
Yes, they have added up to the 10th Doctor Travel mugs. I had mentioned earlier, a few months ago on this podcast, when they put out 1, 2, and 3, they've either been quietly upgrading on the side like some sort of Falcon from the Millennium, or they added a whole bunch all at once. So now they have up to the 10th. Do you have the link that I sent to the group open? With the images of them?
I did not. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get Randy back into this call. Yep.
I just tried to
add to call. There, jeez. There.
Okay. I don't explain it. The call that was stable fine, and the whole hour before the cast.
Well, I'm taking over the call, and we haven't had a problem yet. But yeah,
okay,
so here's
okay.
You tilt your head sideways.
Oh, for the ThinkGeek stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ThinkGeek has never really had me unimpressed on the amount of Doctor Who merchandise.
And there's definitely a fair amount of it.
So do we want to go over do we want to go over each mug like we did with 1, 2, and 3, looking at what's actually on them?
Well, I'm kind of slowly paging through them right now. They look alright, but yeah, I think we can probably easily make quick comments at least.
I've got to say, at least the ones I'm looking at right now are a little unimpressive compared to 1, 2, and 3. I remember they had a bit more on them.
Yeah, number 5 looks really bland.
Number 5, yes, I'm seeing we've got actually the Doctor himself because 5 didn't have enough companions apparently. We've got
that they had about 4 or 5 of them.
Right. We have one of the companions. I'm trying to make out which one it is.
That'd be Tegan.
That's Tegan. Oh, she's actually not in her uniform for once. And that
is in
is
her uniform.
Right. And of course, we got one enemy there.
Yeah, she didn't use the uniform after she came back.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was no longer an air hostess then, because she had gotten fired.
Because she didn't show up for the job.
So we got no Adric, no Nissa, no Tegan, and no Master. I'm a little surprised at all of those.
Yeah, we got one monster. I can't even name him off the top of my head.
On which one?
Fifth
on
one.
The fifth.
On the 5th, I see what looks like a Silurian.
Is he a Silurian? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. I was thinking it might be one of the aquatic guys, but it does look like the classic
No,
Silurian.
it does not look like a sea devil. Their heads were different.
Yeah.
What's the next one you have open, Matt, since I can't see the stream?
Next one. That would be 6th Doctor.
So 6, we've got... On top, we've got our Resurrect... No.
We've got Davros.
Revelation of the Daleks. Davros, a Dalek, and...
the 6th Doctor poking his head out of the TARDIS as well. We also got Perry.
Oh, yep. And then on the bottom, we've got Trial of the Time Lord, because even though we try to forget that part of the 6th Doctor era, it was about half of it.
Yeah,
not
pretty much.
half of it, but about a third.
Yeah. So did he have 2 seasons or 3? I thought he had 2.
He had over 2.
So he had 2 seasons.
He had to have had 3.
Well, 2 seasons of hiatus and the Twin Dilemma is what I thought.
Regardless, that makes it a third.
And what's open right now?
Okay,
7?
moved up to the 7th.
Where you see the Ronnie, Mel, the Doctor's jumper, part of the TARDIS, the Doctor, a Lacurtian, and then Ace and the Daleks.
This one's actually probably one of the better ones.
So that one's actually back to the standard we kind of expected in 1, 2, and 3. We've got a good number there. We've got Special Weapons Dalek.
Oh, I did not realize that the actual picture is in the shape of the Doctor's head.
Yeah, they're all in that way. Yeah. Seventh is the most obvious because of the hat.
Yep.
But they're all that way. Yeah.
Actually, my thought was, what is that? Why is that picture on the bottom in a triangle? And then I looked at it and went, oh, oh.
Wow, it took you this long?
I hadn't looked at them in full picture size before.
Oh, okay.
I had been looking at thumbnails.
Well, that's only your own fault then. But yeah, the 7th one looks pretty good out of them so far. So on to 8. Yeah, we don't got much for 8.
Gee, it only has one piece of visual resource to go on here. So you've got the 8th Doctor's head poking out of the TARDIS. You've got the TARDIS console moving.
Well, it's not the 3rd in a row, because 7th gave us a break on that, but 7th appears in his own picture as well. So it's our 4th actually showing the Doctor in a row.
Then you've got Eric Roberts' Master there by the end of the console, Grace, the TARDIS again, the Doctor's watch, and then the Doctor in that freaking Clockwork Orange device.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had to have some sort of watch or a clock in this one. I mean,
Of all the things in that movie, there has to be a clock or a watch on the
but
the
I
mug.
remember the scene where he had that watch and he was showing the fact that time was not going as like it should.
Mm-hmm. There's that. On to the next. Ninth Doctor.
We got 9, which is another one that's not. It's about as full as we expect. No Daleks, interestingly.
Yeah, that's
nope. But you've got an Auton. You've got Big Ben, oddly enough. You've got the Doctor's face, a Slovene, Rose, and the gas mask child. Are you my mummy? And look, there's Captain Jack.
And Jack Hart.
Captain Jack right there in the corner.
I don't think you mentioned this above the yacht, and we also have Bad Wolf.
Yep.
Oh yes. Oh, that is by the way, something that apparently is going to be in the 50th anniversary. The image that they're using for it shows the John Hurt Doctor coming towards the screen, and behind him you can see Daleks, what look to be exploding, and a remain of a wall that has Bad Wolf on it.
Well, ever since Series 4, Bad Wolf generally just means Rose is coming, so that's kind of to be expected, I think.
I'm just surprised that Moffat is following that meme.
It's a meme. Apparently Moffat believes in nothing but memes.
But yeah, it was a Russell T Davies meme.
Still, he has to bring back Russell T Davies' characters, though, so he has no choice.
He's usually been trying to ignore it like the plague.
But he has no choice, and he's going to bring them back, so... Anyway.
Then we go on to the 10th Doctor. Again, no
Wow,
Dalek.
you can really see his hairdo in that picture.
Yeah. We've got the Weeping Angel. What's next? I'm trying to see what's next to the Weeping Angel there.
What is that?
TARDIS console.
Oh yeah, TARDIS console.
Oh yes, it is. TARDIS console. Another Rose, even bigger, front and center. An Ood and some Cybermen. So to reiterate, between the 9th and 10th Doctors combined, we have Rose and Captain Jack.
Ooh.
No Mickey, no Martha, no Donna. But then again, we also skipped out on Turlo, Nyssa, Adric, Romana 1, Leela.
I really don't agree with them using Rose a second time on the 10th Doctor's picture.
There's so many other people
I would have gone with Donna Noble.
Yeah, if nothing else, at least Donna.
Or even Martha. I mean, Martha and Donna both feature in a good amount of things. I would not have had any problem with either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Rose was important in the 10th Doctor's tenure, but more important in the 9th, and you don't need her in both. I mean, Sarah Jane didn't show up with Baker, so why does Rose need to show up with Tennant?
Mm-hmm. That was kind of my thought. She already had a mug with her face on it. You don't need two.
Right.
God damn them accessing on Rose Tyler.
And I was like, and yes, Rose Tyler was a major thing in
River Song.
If not for Rose Tyler, the show probably would not have been able to revive in the way it did, but that doesn't mean she needs 2 mugs. I mean, Sarah Jane didn't get 2 mugs.
They kept mooning over her after she left the show.
Mm.
How often do you see the Doctor moon over somebody? Seriously.
You mean other than this last Christmas special?
Other than in recent times, yes. I mean, he got a little bit melancholy after Romana left, but that was like maybe 2 episodes.
And he got really melancholy after he had to leave Sarah Jane the first time, but he had to also quickly go off to Gallifrey, so he didn't have much time to think about it.
And same thing with Joe. He didn't mope around for a season after she left either.
Right. That's my point. Not really moping at the end of the episode. Yes, you mope at the end of the episode. Tom Baker moped for a couple of episodes afterwards, but then he regenerated and everything was fine. But
did
seriously,
Davison even acknowledge that Adric was no longer on the TARDIS?
I think it came up briefly.
Ah.
And of course it played big on Tegan's departure a little later.
Yep. And now I'm looking for right now.
Poor Tegan had like the world's worst TARDIS trip.
Well, apparently the actress also apparently had a hard time behind the screen, but...
Well, that was mostly because of the production staff, but Janet Fielding has apparently forgiven everything because she's working very big with Big Finish now.
Yeah.
Much better production staff, then.
Well, I don't know if you'd call her the Colin Baker of companions, but...
No.
Not necessarily. No. Colin Baker, no, not Colin Baker, Tom Baker.
Really not even Tom Baker.
No, Tom Baker had a good experience with the show. He had a bad experience with his last season, but that was more two egos butting heads.
Yeah, clash of the prima donnas, and it turned out that John Nathan Turner had the bigger dick, so to speak,
or was a.
Well, no, because Tom was just the star. He was the freaking executive producer.
Yeah, but Tom was also partially a producer as well, and he also followed a lot of what the fans liked.
He wasn't really a producer. He just acted like it. But, John Nathan Turner came out and he had a my way or the highway approach and made it very clear to Tom Baker that he could replace him with somebody else.
Speaking of which, we have the Fourth Doctor's mug, which is probably the blandest of the 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
we have K9, Romana 2, and
that thing from Wings of Shai
Talent of Wag Tiang. I'm trying to remember his name.
Yeah.
The homunculus.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very uneventful cup.
Considering, over 7 years, they couldn't figure out something else to put there.
You couldn't add in a little picture of Leela.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't add Davros. You couldn't add any of the Daleks.
Sarah Jane, considering we're reusing companions, we could have used.
Yeah. Sarah Jane. You got K9 there. You at least got K9. Adric. You couldn't add Adric at all.
Adric was only there at the very end. Likewise,
He's
Nyssa.
Still there.
But no, if you're taking good chunks of the Doctor thing, Romana's a good choice. But really, they should have actually had Tom Baker in there, scarf and all, big frickin' grin.
Yeah,
and they should have had, and there should be at least a frickin' jelly baby in that cup.
Yeah, and by the way, it seems 1 through 4 do not have the Doctor, whereas all the ones after that do. This would have been a really good one to actually have the Doctor there.
Mm-hmm. Because there's so much on the Doctor's apparel that is indicative of him. The scarf, the jelly babies.
And it also,
the large, wide-brimmed hat.
There's so much blank space on that image, you just can't help but feel like it's got a hole in it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. There's so much more they could have done with that.
And by the way, for anybody who's actually interested in buying these, they're fairly functional, although there are some issues. The white plastic casing does sometimes come loose from the metal, which can result in your dishwasher getting trapped in between and therefore leaking water out the bottom while you're drinking. It doesn't actually affect the actual drinking experience, and I haven't had any problem in that regard. But it might be something to keep in mind. So
hand wash only?
Most likely hand wash, yes.
Probably. I don't own a dishwasher. I'm going to be rotating them out to avoid wear and tear on them so that they don't become too damaged.
What I miss is my TARDIS mug. Back from the days that Doctor Who was on WHA and you pledged $60, they gave you a TARDIS mug. It's just a white mug with a picture of the TARDIS on it. You added hot liquid, the TARDIS would disappear. But I got mine for pledging to WHA to keep Doctor Who on there. Not that it helped when the show went off the air.
Ooh, but the price on that.
What?
They got a Doctor Who Deluxe 12-inch scarf. $50.
12-inch, 12-foot?
Actually, that's a good question. Maybe it is a 12-foot scarf.
Yeah, if it's a full-size wearable scarf, it's got to be at least 12 foot, because 12 inches is 1 foot.
Yeah, well, I don't know why I was thinking of it. That's got to be a 12-foot. Yeah, holy smokes! Look at that.
See, I would pay $50 for a 12-foot scarf.
Oh yeah, I'd pay for good money for that if I could save up.
Is it? It's not the his last season one, right? It's the one right before that.
No, it's at least one of the previous seasons before the last one. Yeah.
And there's one other new piece of merchandise other than the mugs, at least that I'm aware of. I'm sending the link for that now, and that's the Doctor Who Titans. I guess they're basically just small figures. They're
God.
Releasing a new box of
Chibi
those.
Matt Smith.
Yes.
That's so not right. That is so not right.
Chibi Daleks!
They just released Series 2. Each series is $10. And let me see.
Oh my God, Chibi Tenant.
Series 2
Multiple
has
Chibi Tenants.
three Chibi Tenants, Chibi Clockwork Robots, Chibi Cyber Leaders, Angels.
You've got Chibi Vashta Narada there on the left.
Vashta Narada astronauts. I guess a Chibi Adipose is kind of a redundant statement.
Yes, it is. You can't make them more chibi than they were. I still need to get the stress toy for that.
Yeah, I seen that one too.
Yep. We've got Davros, we've got Black and Bronze Daleks, and we have a Centauran.
But in the previous series, we also have Cybermen. We have all 5 colors of Dalek.
The whole Sentai there. And yes, by the way, we have actually run that episode past someone who knew little about Doctor Who, but anybody that has even a smattering of knowledge on Power Rangers immediately recognizes that as Go-Go Power Rangers.
But it's missing black, and it's also missing green.
Just the way they come out and the pose. On the other hand, I showed it to my current roommate, and he didn't get the concept as he has yellow color blindness. And that didn't help with the orange Dalek, so what he saw was a red one, a blue one, and 3 grayish ones.
Ah.
So, yeah. Actually, then he saw the classic Who Daleks.
Pretty much. Not an issue there. But yeah, it's amazing how much of a phenomenon that Doctor Who has become. I was in Barnes & Noble yesterday, and right before the stairs up to where they keep the videotapes was a big cardboard Doctor Who display rack with all the current Doctor Who merchandise in it. And I just thought, 5-10 years ago, you wouldn't see something like that.
Nope, and actually my friend Mike was looking for clocks, and I actually pulled up one of the TARDISes. But then we looked at the price of it and went, nope, maybe not.
Yeah, that's the problem. Most of it is import, so it's still expensive.
Otherwise, he was actually into the idea, even though he knows very little about Doctor Who.
So
getting stuff, so.
Anybody else come across any other news or any new Doctor Who releases that you've seen, anything like that?
Not particularly Doctor Who related, no. I'm also waiting to see, since we're getting a new Doctor, maybe we'll get a new sonic screwdriver.
It's possible. Do remember that the sonic screwdriver was used by 9 and 10 before they did a massive redesign.
Yeah,
they may streamline the design, but they may not change it again until the 12th Doctor.
Yeah, a lot of the thing was intentionally. A lot of the thing was intentional. They were basically redesigning the show for audiences, new TARDIS, new Doctor, new writing style, and everything. That's not really the case here. We're keeping the same companion at the very least, so we know it's not a complete rehaul.
And we're not, and the production staff, as far as I'm aware, is the same, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, because that means that Stephen Moffat's still lead writer, goddammit.
Another disappointing season. BBC, if you're ever going to get any more money out of me, you need to get somebody better to head this thing.
Well, at least I hope that they're hoping that they're not going to have the new Doctor act like a man-child.
Oh, by far, no, you don't get someone that old and make him a man-child.
Unless he's Patrick Troughton for real, whereas, Patrick Troughton would act that way to throw people off.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that, maybe, but yeah, having that actually be the way his personality functions would kind of be off-putting, especially in someone who doesn't look young.
It would really be Doctor Who, the senility years.
Yeah, really.
I've mentioned that before, Eli, by the way. That if you consider the Ninth Doctor a midlife crisis doctor, then 11 is kind of senility.
Oh my god, that actually makes sense.
In its own way, doesn't it?
I'm trying to find a flaw in your logic, and it's not coming.
It does not help. No, it doesn't.
Oh, did y'all see that story that they've changed the story around, or they're writing it in such a way that there's no longer the limit on regeneration?
Basically,
They're working on that.
I saw that article. Essentially, it's Peter Davison was quoted as saying that he's aware that that Moffat has inserted a workaround into Doctor Who to get around that, which a lot of people are coming off to mean that the rebooting of the universe has changed the nature of a Time Lord. Personally, after seeing, for example, Waters of Mars, I'm pretty much just seeing it as I've kind of seen the regenerations as something that's been imposed by the High Council of Time Lords, which is why they were able to offer the Master a new set of regenerations in the Five Doctors, whereas now the entire High Council of the Time Lords is the Doctor, so he can pretty much give himself extra regenerations as he wishes, as far as I'm concerned.
My only problem with it is that they've talked of regeneration to this point as a finite resource.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like even River's song mentioned you shouldn't waste that energy.
Right? Like, you can't set something... Like, if you said, we have this limited amount of water, here, take a little bit of it, and then you turn around and it's like, oh no, we have unlimited amounts of water now. You would be pissed in a post-apocalyptic story. Right?
I can see where you're coming from there, and it is possible that it's something else is written in there, but
it's possible I'm gonna punch Stephen Moffat in the throat.
Well, I'm just hoping he does not come to America in any place that I'm visiting, because I might actually kill the man.
Oh, dude, you'd have to get past the angry mob first.
You just like you see the
I'd
article.
Be leading the mob, down. Matt.
If I'm not leading it first, Randy. I know people who are plenty pissed.
You just gotta find a place where everyone can see you and shout "Santa Ha!"
Okay, you have go Santarnha, you have go delete, and you have go exterminate. No, go!
I just picture like Randy sees in the paper, that Stephen Moffat is coming into town, and he just looks at it and he goes, "Well, this is why I bought the sniper rifle.
It's time.
My time has come.
Time to do what any Midwestern American does at this point and get my gun.
First, I need a shot of liquor.
No. Shoot him for Jesus."
So wait, the Doctor's Jesus?
Yes.
Okay.
If you look at it during the RTD era, very much yes. Go ahead, watch Voyage of the Damned, and please tell me that you can't see the Jesus references.
Damn it, I did it again, Bill. I opened my mouth and I caused the derail.
Yeah, he's
That's
awesome
how
at
this
this
podcast works.
thing.
That's how this podcast works.
Oh man, my first episode was a disaster, though. We were talking about...
Oh yeah, we made it a total
minutes.
disaster last time. Anyway, should we get back on track?
Really, Matt needs to program in a tangent meter, I think, for this podcast, so that every time we go off key, he just hits a button and the tangent meter goes up.
Should I just have like a thermometer in the corner that keeps going higher and higher, and then when it hits peak, we just have a siren sound?
We are at Joss Whedon levels of segue.
Oyster Bell?
Yeah, the cloister bell goes off, and we know we have to get back on top.
Bill, save us! Bill, save us!
I will do Craig Ferguson and talk with a German accent when that happens.
Okay then. So Eli, since you were, it was the past 2 weeks you were not with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
So want to give us your rundown on how you felt about Shadow of Death and Vengeance of the Stones?
To give a quick summary, I like Vengeance of the Stones. I thought Shadow of what was it? Shadow of the Death.
Shadow of Death was the one with the.
I was about to
Doctor.
say it sounded like a speech impediment. Shadow of the Death. My bad. But I didn't like that one. I thought that it sounded almost like they made that character out to be babbling and just kind of like a nervous wreck, like he had ADHD, not Matt Smith ADHD, but that jittery kind of this guy's been drinking too much Red Bull ADHD. You know what I mean?
But
referring to, as in how the Doctor was speaking during that.
Yes, his mannerisms, his speech patterns. It was
his mannerisms.
Yeah,
that was his mannerisms.
For the record, a lot of Matt Smith's mannerisms were taken essentially from this version of the Doctor,
and then turned up to 11. Yeah,
he's the incarnate of what I don't like. Okay.
No, he's actually quite good, but
yeah.
I meant Matt Smith.
Oh, Matt Smith. Yeah. Well, actually, Matt Smith's a fairly good actor. The problem is that this is how Stephen Moffat wrote him. The thing is that, yes, on the surface, Patrick Troughton was always this kind of jittery, oh my good gracious stuff, but below that, you could see the keen mind going. So it was his disguise.
I don't think the second story illustrated that well, is what I'm trying to say. I think it did a good job of it, personally.
So did I. Maybe it's just something we picked up on.
Think back to the scene where he was talking one-on-one with the alien, and you can kind of see that Doctor shining through of what's below the surface.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just
talking with the aliens.
Where he's essentially the humans are out to play. Now you're alone with the Time Lord. Let's talk.
I felt that was a moment of improvement on the writing, but I don't know. It just didn't resonate very well with me, that Doctor.
Yeah.
But the third one, I liked him pretty good. He was pretty cool.
I'm going to say that you're cracked on this one, but
you
just rated it exactly the opposite that I did.
You've pulled a Flynn.
Yeah, because I thought Fraser Hines nailed that narration on Shadows, and the guy that was doing Mike Yates, pretty much could narrate Mike Yates, but couldn't narrate the Doctor or the Brigadier worth a damn.
To give you a little bit of perspective, Randy, I don't know much about the Doctors at all. So this is my first brush with him. I'm not doing it on the credit of does this sound legitimate to the second Doctor. I'm doing it on the do I like this storytelling? Do I like this? And
again, I prefer the story of the second one, to be honest.
Yeah. The third that we actually listed that one as it was a fairly white bread story. It was basically the plot of the Silurians. Only take out the Silurians being from Earth and put in these other guys. So
my thing was I didn't like the wrap up at the end of the second one. That was my favorite one of the first three. I liked the second one the best until we've got 10 minutes left. Let's wrap this up. Sort of feel I got.
I kind of felt the same way during that part as well.
But I could still see it working. And worked fine for me.
I haven't hated any of these. Let me be very
clear.
No,
by no means have we hated any of these. Compared to what Moffat's
a lot of audio series, like audio books, stuff like that. This is the highest quality of stuff I've ever listened to. This is the best. This is the best made. This has some of the sharpest writing when it's at its.
Well, by all means, what we're saying that we don't like something about this is us essentially just nitpicking just to find something. Whereas if we were to compare this to, say, this last season of Doctor Who, by far, no, we love these three so far.
Yes.
And a lot of the issues we did have as a group with Vengeance of the Stones, you wouldn't have had because, for example,
you wouldn't know how Nicholas Courtney spoke as the Brigadier or how John Pertwee spoke as the Doctor. So you really don't have a bar to set it against.
And you also haven't seen the umpteenth million times that they've done the same exact alien invasion story again.
Yeah, that was kind of my issue.
All I have is what I like in storytelling and what really resonates with me to rate it by. So
yeah, there is only one thing about this series that turns me off, and I mentioned it last week, is that it can't seem to figure out whether it wants to be an audio book or an audio drama.
See, that is a huge problem.
Because it really could go further either direction and be just
because I've listened to a lot of the Big Finish works, because they've done I think around 200 Doctor Who audios in their main line alone, and they're full radio plays. So they've got special effects, and they've got they got actors voicing every role and everything, just like you would on old time radio, only with modern effects. And an audiobook is somebody reading the book audio, and this is kind of a hybrid of the two, and it throws me off.
And I can tell you got that number a bit off. Remember, you were talking about Brotherhood of the Daleks. We were talking about a bit in the chat before. That's number 114 of the main line. That came out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're probably, I mean, without even looking, I would say close to 300 at this point.
I'd say closer to 250.
Well, because they're also doing I think they're doing 4 a month, aren't they?
They do something like that, but it took them from 2000 to 5 years ago to get to 115. So, on that note, they've been adding more of their sidelines these days.
True. Let me check on the main line.
I'm gonna skip right ahead and just say this: Babblesphere is my least favorite that I've listened to.
Again, I think you're nuts.
I think you're cuckoo.
It does look like 178 is the newest release. So okay, they're not going quite as quickly as I thought they were.
Because they've had to slow down.
At least in the main range, they do have about 6 ranges going at this moment in Doctor Who alone. So
that was what I was going to mention, is the fact that they've split out. They used to be just doing the main line, and now they've got all these other lines. And
they started off, they were doing the main line, the 8th Doctor line. Well, yeah, they were doing those 2. Then they added the 4th Doctor line. At this point, the 4th, 8th, and main are all wrapped up into one line, I think. Or is the 4th? No, the 4th might still be separate. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Although they did just add another range for the 8th Doctor of essentially a side story. Dark Eyes, that's the one.
Okay. So I think we've said enough about that, and we're about ready to move on, I think, to...
Eliza mentioned to me that he's actually only got a limited time now. So do we want to discuss Babblesphere first, or do we still want to go ahead and give our rundown of the 4th Doctor and Romana before we do the actual review? I know we've had some delays today anyway.
Burning Madness and Curls in Space and Time. What else do you need to know about the 4th Doctor?
Yeah, there isn't really that much you need to know, except for the fact that the 4th Doctor, up until recent times, was the most iconic Doctor in history. I mean, prior to, Tennant, when you thought of the Doctor, you thought of Tom Baker. I mean, if you look at things like The Simpsons and everything else, whenever they used the Doctor in a reference, it was always the 4th Doctor with a scarf. That was just, he was the most well-known of them and the most internationally known.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And was the longest...
was the David Tennant of his time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he was the longest-standing Doctor.
He was the David... if you combine the popularity of David Tennant and the popularity and iconicness of David Tennant and Matt Smith together, you'd have Tom Baker.
Yes.
Damn.
He was
Yes.
huge.
He
was
also
a
character
fangirls.
for 7 years.
If you also take the length of time David Tennant was the Doctor and the length of time Matt Smith was the Doctor, that's how long Tom Baker was the Doctor. 1975 to 1982.
Also, if you combined those two, you would have fangirls just like exploding. Just to let you know.
Well, except for the fact that Tom was older than. I mean, I'm not sure if Tom
He was like 35 when he became the Doctor, I think.
No, I think he was 40 exactly. I think.
40 exactly? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So it
either
would've
way,
been
he was
47 when he's
older.
done.
He was not the most good-looking character.
He was alright.
He
I'll look him up.
He was probably the most charismatic Doctor that we ever had.
To that point, yes.
Yeah, that man owned any scene he was in.
And yeah, I found out he's about a foot shorter than me. So when you compare to him when he was at his height,
which makes me wonder just how short Lalla Ward is.
Well, apparently all British people are really short. It's weird.
Their diet.
No,
There goes another third of our audience.
Bye, audience.
That's like one person. No, I think more on YouTube.
Yeah, there's more people on YouTube. Believe me, this podcast actually gets pretty decent ratings on my channel, despite having so few followers.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's helping.
Yeah,
I'm
and by the
definitely
way,
helping
it's
ratings.
not the British that's absurdly short. It's us people here in the Western world that's absurdly tall.
Okay, now we're alone.
Just putting that out. You ask your average Japanese person, and we're huge.
Oh God, no!
All by myself.
I love the Japanese. The
I
Mexicans
said
are
nothing
my
wrong with the
friends.
Japanese. I have nothing.
Randy's
but
a
respect for-
Nazi.
I am not a Nazi. I am just saying that we're taller than most of the other people, and that's
Also,
not
he's
necessarily
a
a
member of
good thing.
KKK.
I am not.
All right, let's.
He's trying to say that we're all from Skyrim, apparently.
I want to be a Nord so bad.
To kick off Babblesphere, I have three main things that came out to me as what I'd want to talk about, assuming I can remember them all with all the discussion that we've had so far. But one, after the Sausage Fest we had last week, this is our girl power episode, I'd say, considering that essentially all of the heroes were women. Maybe the Doctor was a hero as well, but most of the heroes were women. Two is the fact that they tell you so hard during the actual thing that this is the essential average fourth Doctor episode, while in the process coming out with an adventure that they could not possibly have written in 1980.
I know.
Which brings me to the third point about this being a pretty interesting Twitter commentary.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is very much a social commentary on Twitter.
Oh yeah, the allegory that it's like Twitter and Facebook is like when they go into the sphere.
They literally use a hashtag on the first. I would call it the first page, thinking of it as a novel because this was a bit more bookish than some of the others.
I'd say the first paragraph.
Yeah, in the first scene.
In the first scene, they used hashtags
Yeah,
at
the
least a
first
couple
scene.
times.
He uses hashtags and such.
Also, am I the only? Just show of hands. Who looked up his Tiberius 1-2 whatever after you heard all that?
I didn't.
I did not.
Nope.
That guy has the most boring Twitter.
They're very nice. The fact that I've been avoiding Twitter like the plague since it came out, so.
Well, that's why he was spoilers, but that's why he was murdered by the whatever robot.
By the computer program because he was too boring.
Yeah.
So literally, the person who wrote this knew their stuff.
You're a boring twat.
No. See, we only allow comedians like Dane Cook on our Twitter.
No, but what I mean is the fact that he used the username of a boring Twitter person.
He did. But on subject. Shut up, Randy, on subject.
This is on subject.
This is on subject. What are you on?
He's talking about the writing.
I'm talking about the writing of the episode.
Oh my god, I thought he was about to go back on a Twitter tangent. I'm so sorry.
Well, no, I was just talking about the fact that the writer knew enough of that stuff to put in the references in the writing material. Goes to show that he knew what he was writing about, and was enough to make it, make light of it in that sense. I thought that was actually a rather good thing.
Yes. Yeah, I can't say I follow boring people, but I do know that there are apparently really boring tweets out there from what I've seen.
So I guess the question comes down to it: would we blow up the brains of these boring people for the sake of Twitter?
Oh yes.
For the sake of self-entertainment, at least, yes.
I guess if we were all forced to follow them automatically and not being able to unfollow, we might.
Oh yeah, I'd start zapping people's heads.
Well, no, this is even worse than that. This is Twitter combined with, like, cyberpunk. To the fact that you are automatically hooked into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, you combine Twitter with, like, the Matrix or the net.
Their outfits reminded me of steampunk, though.
Yeah, it was, okay, right, they both had the same, origins. They based the colony off of the Victorian era, whereas steampunk, one of the main tenets of it is that it is based off Victorian fashion and Victorian.
So yeah, it was basically neo-Victorian would be the best term, I think.
Yeah.
We fancy as hell.
It was not quite steampunk because it was definitely plenty of cyber elements in there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't a steam-powered computer.
Yeah, obviously.
Though,
there's enough geothermal stuff going around outside that maybe they could have powered it off of that.
I really wanted that to be explored more. I didn't think it was explored well enough that they're on a volcano-ish planet.
That was also relatively kind of common.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just made outlandish worlds outside just so they could have a reason to be inside.
It basically wasn't the point of the story. Like, if this was a first or second Doctor story and it was actually on the show that was 6 episodes long, they might have spent 2 hours stumbling around in the rubble of the volcanic world before actually making
not 2 hours. The average Doctor Who episode was 4 episodes, which was about an hour and a half.
2 episodes, I meant. They might have spent doing that, yeah.
I don't know. I've always been a sucker for, in the Doctor Who stories, like finding out what's happening in that whole world outside of the story that's happening right in front of us.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure, although in an hour story with as much to communicate as this one had, they couldn't really have done that without sacrificing some of the actual plot.
Yeah. And really, the only reason it was a hostile volcanic planet at that point was a vehicle to make it a self-contained dome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
there's only so many unreachable planets orbiting black holes and pulsars we can have.
Yeah, if
That's
I'd been writing it, I would have put it on a space station or a long-term spaceship, like a generation ship. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
But you could have done that same story in one of those without the whole volcanic world concept.
Yeah. You just wouldn't have had the epic introduction of the guy going out and looking at all the volcanic splendor and then his head exploding.
That was pretty slick. I liked that. But as far as the overall story went, I thought that the allegory of it being Twitter and Facebook and yada 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 yada, social networking, I thought it was a little too, probably got to be a little bit too much by the end, but they walked the line pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
The allegory was kind of hitting you in the face with a hammer.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious, but they did explore both the positives and the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, they even talk about somebody you would think about their food or something. I remember them saying something to the equivalent of taking pictures of their food and putting it up.
They were basically saying people spending all their time thinking about what their next meal is and broadcasting it to everybody.
Yeah.
I do remember at one point what my own commentary was on that. If I was the one to be speaking to the robot, it would have been, "Congratulations, you've just created the virtual version of 4chan." You know.
There's no child porn in here.
You wouldn't know that if one of those guys had thought about child porn. Everyone else would have seen it.
If this wasn't Doctor Who, they would have passed by a room where there was just a group of people furiously masturbating all day long.
That place would have been disgusting if it wasn't Doctor Who. Like, there would just be semen flying around all over.
Well, except for one problem. Whoa. This had been going on so long that the people that would have done that would have masturbated themselves to death months ago. So it would have just been a room filled with corpses and dried semen.
Hey, you know what? There's those women that were dead on the couch. Maybe that's
bunch of corpses just lounging there. What's that smell?
And here I was going to say we're going into a dark place when he mentioned the child porn, but now
we can take it further. We can go further into the pit.
Remember, this is basically commentary on the internet. There are very dark places in the internet.
Yes, there are.
Oh god,
the internet is what porn.
But aside,
I'm surprised they didn't have that one guy who just conjures an image of Lemon Party into his mind just for the sake of messing with everybody.
Oh god.
Bill, you can go. You just won the internet.
One guy that's just sitting there in his room, broadcasting everyone else, 2 girls, one cup.
Just fucking with everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be that one twat who's like, you know what? Everybody's all calm today. It's time to make things happen.
Let's drive everyone in here insane. Let's post that. Let's post that. Let's post that. And everyone just floods the entire thing with, "Oh my god, no!"
Yeah, that's the one thing he didn't really cover, the concept of the troll.
Yeah,
people just like watch the world burn, and they're on a volcanic planet, so they're halfway there.
So there was a slight move in that direction when he mentioned, posting images of events and whatever, and having everybody's annoying comments on them.
The Doctor was the ultimate troll.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
the Doctor and Romano were the ultimate trolls.
Plot twist!
Only to be trolled himself by his later self.
Yes, in fact.
That's meta. That's meta as hell. But aside from the allegory, it just seemed a little bit weird, the allegory to me, because I've seen it in so many things now. Like, it's friggin' everywhere. You can go to any given Redbox, and you can find at least 5 movies, 10 movies in that box about it. I just think it's a tired subject.
Twitter?
And it just kind of... No, about social media being the destruction of us.
Oh, there we go. 4th Doctor, troll face. Ta-da!
Can we just, put that up, please?
Yes, it's up. It's.
Oh, that's amazing. Just, you make that a thumbnail.
Can you post the link to that and on the channel here, Matt?
Don't do it on the Skype.
Considering I'm not watching the feed at this point because I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation.
But I thought the writing was pretty good. I didn't like the woman who was narrating this time.
The woman who's narrating was Lala Ward, who played Romana in the original run.
Well, she had to go back to her basement.
And is also Tom Baker's ex-wife.
Yes.
Well, she should go back to being
quite well.
Somebody else's
quite
wife.
the voice.
I actually didn't mind it because she managed to get a lot of Tom Baker's nuances down pretty damn good.
What did you think of her deep voice?
Her deep voice like this? I didn't like it.
Well, again, it's a woman trying to do deep voices. It's not always going to pan out that well.
Considering how deep Tom Baker's voice is compared to hers, she pretty much had to over-exaggerate just to...
Yeah,
I would have preferred her to not try at all. I would have preferred her to just...
Well, in order to make her not try at all, we would have to go more in the direction of what Big Finish usually does, which is to bring in as many people as possible.
My problem is...
about.
My problem is, Big Finish has the license to use the previous Doctors. Why wouldn't they just bring in Tom Baker to this?
Did you see the in our Skype chat in between episodes I quoted the I forget his name, the guy who's directing these, and he basically, I forget the exact words, but basically it felt weird to have some of the doctors narrate and some of them not because they were dead.
And they kind of make this a focus on the companions. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially in this one because the doctor pretty much sits and watches Romana do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of which, Romana, I wish they had done more, a little bit, like, I don't know, I didn't feel satisfied by how she operated in this story, you know? Like, this is my first experience with the Time Lord lady.
How so?
I don't know, it just seemed like she was just basically Martha Jones to me.
Well,
like, we need to... Hmm?
Well, what Martha Jones is essentially a classic Who companion in the new series. Basically, I mean, that's honestly the best way I can describe her anyway. But whereas this version of Romana, I mean, and I at least felt I got this from the story as well. By this point, Romana's been traveling with the Doctor and has regenerated. At this point, she's essentially a female version of this Doctor. Except obviously some differences, but
and
yeah, well,
that's how she operates.
You see, that is kind of what happened. I mean, if you look at when Eccleston regenerated into Tennant, he kind of became a male version of Rose. He adopted the same accent.
Yeah.
He basically imprinted Rose as a base pattern for making the new Doctor in a way. And that's kind of what Romana did when they went from the previous Romana to Romana 2, which is what Lalla Ward is. Although the body she used was technically stolen from Princess Astro, who Lalla Ward played the previous season.
Yep.
And that the Doctor did not really accept her until she put on his clothes.
So, the equivalent of his clothes, yes.
A female equivalent of them, yes. Pinks and whites and other things.
No, she didn't get the
pinks. No, I think they were the
later.
same colors. They were just her size.
They were.
Well, that's right. They didn't come up with an exact copy of his outfit. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was just more tailored for her. Anyway, but she is at least a good complement to the Doctor in this. She is arguably smarter than he is. Arguably
smarter.
But, yeah, the thing is that it's sort of like we were talking with Troutman, and this is another one of those Doctors where he will act the fool every chance he gets, unless he has to show you how smart he is.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's not so much the fool as his eccentricness.
Yes.
The Doctor, the Fourth Doctor is incredibly eccentric.
Yes, but he
off the wall, bohemian eccentric.
He enjoys having the person he's facing think he's just a rambling idiot, unless he has to show that he just outsmarted him.
Yes. That is true. But not in the same way that the Second Doctor did, was my point.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are very different. I would say I like that transition a lot more than how it usually is when they regenerate in my experience from the 9th to the 10th to the 11th. He basically stayed the same person with very slight differences in mannerisms.
And usually the regeneration process is quite an extreme difference. I mean, if you look at John Pertwee's Doctor, who is a man of action, not the most technical person.
Reverse the polarity.
And then you get to Tom Baker's Doctor, who is an exceedingly different...
He's more of a I'm going to beat you with my silver tongue kind of guy, is the vibe I've got.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And then after I've done beating you with my silver tongue, I will also prove that I can actually do it.
Oh, no, he will be beating you with his silver tongue while waiting for you to do the wrong thing for him to take advantage of and find the way to win. That was basically the Fourth Doctor.
He will offer you a jelly baby afterward.
No, he will offer you a jelly baby first and have you smack it away from him and then go, oh, I shouldn't have done that then.
Okay,
but
so
then
what's a jelly baby? What does a jelly baby taste like?
It is kind of a cross, if you can think of, in American terms, a cross between a gummy bear and a jelly bean. It is tartar than a gummy bear, and it's a different texture.
I don't want that.
Oh, it's good.
I've actually seen some of them like that, and I really like those.
Every description of it sounds to me like a Swedish fish.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. And I don't like Swedish fish.
I remember there used to be a special kind of gummy bear back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I really liked them, and I have not liked gummies since because I really liked those. And from what I understand, that's what gummy babies are.
Or jelly babies, yeah.
No, jelly babies, yeah. My bad.
There used to be a British goods store here in Madison that sold jelly babies, and I would buy them.
Have the doctor's face on them?
No, because it has the little jelly baby icon and little cartoon figure that they use in Britain. So it was, it wasn't there because it was Doctor Who. It was there in a big pile of this brand name of candies that he imported from England.
But in summary, because I only have about 5 minutes left, I still think that it was good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think none of these stories, I'm up to 7 now, and I have not disliked any of these. The reason I'm looking at these with under a microscope, my bad, I can't make words happen, is because they are so high quality that I feel the need to do that. Like, if it was just they just slapped it together, I'd be like, it's good for what it is. But they sound like they've really put themselves into this. So, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would...
A good chunk of, I think, what you're missing there is a lot of these are a slice from that particular production era. So, I mean, I listen to the special effects and some of the noises, and I'm like, oh, wow. This actually feels like late 70s, early 80s production style.
Yeah.
Oh, also, when I started listening to these, the sound of the TARDIS threw me off.
Oh?
It did. For some, maybe it's just the speakers of my phone, and it's just my schizophrenia. But I thought it was different sounding than like the Tints.
Oh yeah,
really?
I'm pretty sure that, except for certain episodes, I'm pretty sure the TARDIS has been the same for the past 50 years and pretty much everything.
My schizophrenia, then. Just my schizophrenia.
They've digitally remastered the sound a few times. The original TARDIS sound was basically created by scraping a key across a piano string.
Which is funny because to me the TARDIS always sounds like when you're trying to start a car, but it doesn't turn over.
Thank you.
But no, if you YouTube the 25th anniversary special, the behind the scenes for it, they actually go into the BBC sound effects guy and shows them the original sound used to make the TARDIS. And basically then they digitally altered, or not digitally at the time, they've put it through sound filters to create the TARDIS sound that we know, and then I think somebody went through at some point and digitally recreated that sound.
Probably sometime near the 80s.
Sometime in the 80s, I'd suspect, Matt.
Yeah. I said around
But
the
my
80s.
rating is 3 out of 5. For Babblesphere.
And
Okay.
for the record, what did you rate the second and third?
The second and third. Right? I would rate the third as a 4 and the second as a 3.
We got a 4-3, 4-3 going on.
Exactly, it's a pattern.
Yeah, a pattern exactly opposed to us.
I'm here to be contrary.
He's a hired-on Flynn.
No, guys, I'm a Cyberman. I'm just a very well-placed Cyberman. Like, they've really worked hard on my brain so that I can trick you guys into a false sense of security.
You shall be exterminated.
Like, y'all don't hear it, but I'll be muting my microphone and just for these random, the exterminate, and then I'll chime back in. Just like, everything's cool. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
The mention of Cybermen and Daleks reminds me of the way we closed out last episode, which reminds me of the fact that we never did a summary of this story.
No, I guess that's kind of true, isn't it?
Because he was leaving, so we wanted to get straight to covering it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we at least got his number on it, and we understand a little bit of why he doesn't like it, I guess.
And why I'm a horrible subhuman.
Hey, I need a Siskel to my Ebert.
I will be that man.
Because since we've lost Flynn, I have not had counterpoints to my arguments.
Well, I'm here for it.
Although apparently you're not going to be good in the long run, because apparently you're not fond of Stephen Moffat either.
Oh, I fucking hate Stephen Moffat. I hate that guy.
Okay, so now we're 4 guys that hate Stephen Moffat. The thing is, Flynn apparently worshipped the ground he walked on.
Oh no! Don't let me be in the same room as Flynn. I'll kill Flynn.
I'm pretty sure that each of us would have a few words and maybe a few fisticuffs rounds. With
Fisticuffs.
I wouldn't, because it's Siskel and Ebert. I would sit there and I would have a long-winded argument debate. And then arrange for him to be killed when he left the studio.
A couple times in a row now.
Well, all right, guys. I'm gonna head out.
All right.
I got grown-up stuff to do. Yeah, I'll be on next week if y'all have me.
Sure.
Yep, we'll see.
We're going to be recording more or less the same time.
Yeah.
With hopefully less gaps in between.
Yeah, so hopefully less hiccups.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, guys. See you later.
Goodbye.
All right. Do we really need a summary at this point?
I guess we should at least give something brief so that people who watched this last week don't think that this is about Daleks and Cybermen.
Shall I give the extremely briefest of briefest summaries?
Sure.
Okay. Essentially, there is a Earth station on this planet that's apparently surrounded by volcanoes. We're never actually given a name for this planet.
Did they say Hephaestus?
That was the name of the planet, yes.
Oh, so they did mention it. I just didn't pick it up because I don't pick up names.
Yeah.
You have to mention it more than twice, please.
The door robot asked it for planet Festus, and then the doctor goes, Hephaestus. And Romano's like, is that important to you? No. Is it important to you? No.
Nope.
Oh. I'm sitting there listening to that little piece of dialogue, by the way, going, oh my god, that's perfect.
Yep.
It was it kind of felt almost like I had heard it before, but if so, I couldn't quite
the two of them did that a bunch.
Yes, They did. It was something the doctor and Romana did often.
Yeah.
But anywho, we're supposed to be trying to do a quick, very brief summary. Yep. After a man in essentially a old Victorian judge's
You know, man, I have a 1-sentence summary for this episode. The Doctor and Romana walk into a space colony and find everyone addicted to space Twitter, and then they fix it. The end.
Well, I was going to go into a little more detail than that, jeez.
That's essentially what it is.
But fine, if you're going to just ride the horse like that, then I'm done.
They're essentially run by Victorian... it's enforced by Victorian-styled Daleks with an early Star Trek-style computer running them that they Captain Kirk to death.
Oh yeah, and then Matt Smith comes in and trolls them. Yes.
Yes.
By the way, what'd you think of Lala Ward's doing of Matt Smith?
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was fairly decent.
That was all right.
I laughed at the Chumbleys.
Yes.
Being his number one enemy.
God, yes. I'm like, there's nobody of any import on that list.
I think that was the point. What was the list again?
It was his most.
No, like who else was on it?
The Ood was on it.
Yeah, which was not really a foe, but okay.
Well, it wasn't a list of foes, was it?
Yeah, I think he said top 5 foes.
Mm-hmm. Top 5 foes. The Ood came up, which was probably basically be the Fourth Doctor going, what?
was the Judu not one of them?
No.
No. Trying to remember who was on that list. I think the Santarans were the only ones of import on the list, and they were number 5.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
And the Santarans, and then number 4 was the Ood. 3, I think, was like the Movellians.
Oh, that's right. I think 3 and 2 were very similar named.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, and number 1, the Chumbleys, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
What are the Chumbleys?
They were a First Doctor enemy.
yeah, they were not even the enemy; they were the robot henchmen
Mm.
of an
And that
enemy.
was that from the Rescue?
I think so.
Hmm.
But either way, they weren't really that threatening. So this was Matt Smith doing an epic troll.
Well,
'Cause he
Matt
basically
Smith's Doctor
made-
doing Epic Troll.
What?
Matt Smith's
No, 'cause
Doctor doing Epic Troll.
Yeah, it was Lala Ward, but it was Lala Ward as
this
Matt
was
Smith.
an 11th Doctor epic troll because there was nobody on the list that was worth a damn. Except for the Santarans, and even they're way too predictable. But yeah, I liked Lala Ward's nuances of the 4th Doctor. She managed to get those down.
And as you mentioned earlier, she had better know Tom Baker's nuances by now.
You would think so.
We'd be kind of questioning her.
Because she married the man. I was surprised at how much she had aged. I mean, I know it's been, 30 years. But some of the people that we had seen before who were, even from earlier ages than her, don't sound quite as old as she does.
Oh.
Well, you gotta remember, they worked in asbestos.
True. Surprised she's not dead of cancer. Like, most of the rest of the Doctor Who actors. No one else has died recently, have they?
Nope.
Okay.
Not recently.
I think so.
I just
And
thought I just thought I'd have to do our weekly
Right.
death check.
Yeah, just speaking of death, I was going to mention today, I mean, I don't know if it's still relevant since we're not really doing a rundown of Romana. Mary Tam was going to start doing Big Finish work last year as Romana 1 and pretty much died right when the script was finished. There was a trilogy she was doing, and they pretty much decided to do it anyway as a tribute to her. I'm not sure if it was done by Lala Ward or by somebody else.
No, I'm just laughing with that. Yeah, it was a trilogy because it was they were doing 4th Doctor and each of his companions. They were in the 4th Doctor series. They were doing 3 episodes of each because it was like 4th Doctor and Louise Jameson. Then it was going to be 4th Doctor and Mary Tam, 4th Doctor and Lala Ward, 4th Doctor and Adric and or Nissa, I think, was going to be the end of that series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess
Probably-
you can count this as a 4th Doctor companion.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
So yeah, I suppose you can count Nissa as a 4th Doctor companion.
She joined in Legopolis, so.
Yeah.
But I think they were going to see if they could convince Tom to do something with Matthew, and if they could get Matthew to do something.
Yeah,
Remember,
I would think that out of all of them, that would probably actually be one of the hardest pairings.
Because, yeah, to get those two, because they don't exactly like each other.
Apparently.
No, apparently Mary Tam did more than that.
Oh, so maybe it was after recording. I know it was before it was aired that she had passed, I thought.
Yeah, because I'm looking right now at a listing of ones that she had done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were six Doctor Who's with Louise Jameson. And then there were 7, or not a Big Finish Doctor Who's with Louise Jameson as Leela. And then 7 with Mary Tam.
Oh, okay. Oh, so... Okay, so maybe it wasn't her coming to Big Finish in the first place, it was just that specific series then.
Are you sure you weren't thinking of Elizabeth Sladen?
No, it was definitely Mary Tam, because Elizabeth Sladen, she had been doing that whole Sarah Jane series that they had paused.
Yes,
so
I know,
that
but she had
school
just
reunion could happen.
signed on to do
Right.
Originally what was going to be the season 1 to these 4th Doctor adventures was going to be the Doctor and Sarah Jane, but she literally died like days before filming
But yeah,
or recording.
This was specifically a Romana article.
Yeah, she recorded 7 adventures with Tom Baker shortly before her death.
Oh.
So yes, once again, we get on the morbid subject of people dying.
Right. Do you know what? Is the list you're looking at? Does that include the release dates?
The final phase was released in July,
So
which was
that's
the
the month she
episode
died.
7. That was
Okay. Oh, so they were all released up until leading up to her
Yep.
death.
Yep. The Antimatter, which was the first one. January, February, March. Yeah, they released 2 in March, but they didn't release one in April. So May, June, July. So yeah, they released January through July of this year for those. Well, you think about it, they don't need a lot of post work.
Mm-hmm.
And she died actually last year in July.
I know there was an interview with Big Finish that mentioned that all of the effects, I guess a lot of things do the effects live with the actors. They do all the effects in post, so that they can so that the studio time is as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But
yeah.
these actually came out January through July this year, and she died July last year.
Oh,
So
you're
there
saying
was a year
okay.
delay.
So you're saying they were all released after she died?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't know where you're getting your facts from, Bill.
Well, why? What I had said was that they were released after she died, before, and then from what he said, I thought I was mistaken.
No, she died in 26 July of 2012, and the first one came out in January. Yeah, they had just finished releasing the last of the Louise Jameson ones when she died. I am wondering if they're planning a third series now with Lala Ward. That would be good. No, they're not. Season 3 is going to be from January 2014, and we'll have Louise Jameson again. And Season 4 will also have Louise Jameson. So Leela's getting essentially another 12 or so discs. I wonder why they haven't gotten Lala Ward. Maybe she's kind of been, yeah, I'll do stuff, but not with Tom.
Maybe.
Don't want to bring up bad memories.
Yeah, there was apparently a bit of bad blood there.
I thought there wasn't. I thought their divorce was amicable.
Oh no, I've heard from. I'm not sure from her end, but I've heard from Tom that yeah, my ex-wife essentially thinks I'm worse than any monster in the show.
Because she's quoted as saying that it's something she still feels sad about. She loved and in many ways still loves Tom very much. The trouble was that it was their careers that were just as important as each other, and they grew apart.
I don't know. I would still think that there's something that could easily go wrong between the two of them, though, too. Because I'm pretty sure it's not just the work either.
I don't know.
Oh, I can imagine that living with Tom Baker
Of course,
at that particular time in his life would not have been an easy thing to do.
Yeah, that it's also possible that while Lala Ward has nothing bad, it's possible Baker does.
Maybe.
And he remarried in 1986.
And I'm not sure if Lala ever remarried her, though, either, too.
I don't know. She was good friends, apparently, with Douglas Adams. Yeah, she got remarried in 92. To Richard Dawkins, who is a biologist and author. So I don't know. Maybe there is bad blood there. Maybe they just don't want to make there be bad blood there. Who knows? But no, so she's not scheduled to do any actual audio work with Tom anytime soon. But no, I thought she did okay. I would compare her on the same grade to what Carol Ann Ford did.
Yeah.
In the first one. She wasn't
Although
quite as...
I think Tam did more voices than Ford did.
Yeah, that too, actually.
Because she did all of, at least one or two lady voices. I'm not sure if she was the Petty Sequats or not. Or if that was the male actor.
I don't know. That could have been Nick Briggs for all we know.
He's not credited, but it's possible.
But it's possible. It sounded like Briggs. But it also just could have been one of his sound distorters, too.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely done through a ringtone modulator.
Right.
I couldn't quite tell. So, yeah, but I didn't think she did quite as good as Fraser Hines, but she did fairly good at doing it. She did as good as Carol Ann Ford did.
Yes, and all considering they both did very well for what they were able to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If I could speak straight.
So I think it's time to bring up our scores.
So, okay. I'd say that this is warranted at least another 4 again.
I would agree, 4.
I think there's just enough to this one. I'm kind of leaning toward 4.5. I'm thinking would probably say I like this more than any of the others so far, which obviously I didn't dislike any of them, but I would probably put this as the highest so far.
I will go up to 4.5 because I like the social commentary bit on it.
Yeah, but wait until like 5 to 10 years down the line and that social commentary bit will be kind of dead.
Yes, but I'm reviewing it now, not then. If I come to readdress this in 5 to 10 years, the score may go down. Much like my initial, although it was not on this podcast, reviews of the final 2 episodes in the first season of Doctor Who has gone down.
No, that was part of the podcast.
The second time, not the first time.
My second review was where I scored it much lower.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I liked those episodes a lot when they first came out. Because I thought they were very witty with social commentary. But that social commentary has since, gone stale.
That said, social media has been a growing thing for over 10 years.
Yes.
So I don't see it just fizzling out in the next 5 years either.
Mind you, my mom and stepdad met through Twitter. And they're married and living in Canada now.
Blame Canada. Hi, Canada. We just lost your audience, too.
Just like while Bluetooth is not quite as big a thing as it was in 2006, the concerns with Rise of the Cybermen are not entirely gone because we are still entrusting ourselves more and more to more powerful computers that we carry with us.
And we're still talking to people, and we still look crazy because we look like we're talking to the air.
Yeah, although it's funny, in 2006, I think, phones were still on the trend of going smaller.
Yeah,
People were coming up with smaller and smaller phones, but since the new smartphones, the iPhone in particular, became big, phones have on the trend been getting larger.
What I'm kind of waiting for is for flip touchscreens to start coming out. I'm kind of surprised they haven't started, because then they can still, it's physically smaller to carry, but you still have that full-size screen.
I'm wondering when that's going to come out myself. I think it's just one of those things that they want to make it just right before they release it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I really want that new watch.
What new watch?
Care to elaborate?
There's a commercial out now that it's a series of sci-fi clips of people talking to their watches, like the signals, like they use Power Rangers, Star Trek, Dick Tracy,
James Bond.
Giant Robo, and all this other stuff. But essentially, it's a phone. It's a phone that's built into a watch, but it also has other things like Android and so forth.
Well, what I do, one thing that they have, like if you look for high-end Bluetooth apps, there are watches that are essentially, $1,000 watches that also function as a Bluetooth to talk on your phone.
I'm waiting for them. I know they've done this for some computers, but I'm waiting for them to build a full-on Android phone pair of glasses.
Like Google Glass for Android? Well, actually, that's
Yes.
kind of what Google Glass is, right?
Only sort of.
That's technically what Google Glasses are, yeah.
Except they are, but it doesn't have all the phone features. And that's what I would want, is not only to have that, but have the phone speaker be, right in your, right in the bow of your glasses. The microphone just under the frame, so there you go. You walk around with a normal...
Which would not be hard for them to do as long as they know that there'd be buyers for it.
Yep. I'm just waiting for it to come out.
But yeah, I'd like that watch.
Okay. So we've got 4.5, 4, 4.5, and the 3.
Yep.
Four, 8, 11, 15 and a
divided
half.
by 4, right? Am I doing that wrong? Is it 16 divided by 4?
No, it's not. It's 15 and a half divided by 4. Wait, no, there was 2 halves, so 4.5, 4.5, 9, 3. Yeah, 16 divided by 4 averages 4.
Came out to a pretty neat one.
It's flat out 4, above average.
Yep.
Yeah.
This should be a pretty good listen through. Despite what our new Flynn says.
Oh, like I said, he can't be quite the new Flynn because
If he was the new Flynn when I mentioned the planet distracting from the plot, we would have had a 45-minute argument.
Yes, we would have.
That be as it may.
That be as it may. We'll come back next week with the 5th Doctor's adventure in this series, as narrated by Janet Fielding, if I remember correctly. Tegan.
Yes, it's narrated by Tegan. And is the guy that is the character that the other actor plays? Is that in any of the blurbs?
Let's see.
Someone widely known for their smoke and mirrors.
I don't know. I'm no longer on that page anymore. Hang on.
Tim Beckman. But I would digress to push this to an end.
Tim Beckman. Yeah, I don't see what he's been in before, so I don't know what he's playing.
Well, actually, yeah, it's not a. They only call. Oh yeah, they refer to it. He's reunited with an old friend, Harry Houdini.
Okay, so he's playing Harry Houdini.
Yes,
possibly yes.
Okay. All right. Join us for that next week.
Until next time.
See you all later.